He's gonna. Well, fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, or late evening for wherever you are. If I don't wish this to those that are fathers and those that are aspiring to be fathers, you play a role as the GPS or the lighthouse in the younger ones, all throughout your life, all throughout their lives as well. But aside from this celebration, every day, in my opinion, is a Father's Day or a Mother's Day because those two play such vital and significant roles in our lives. And I'm going to leave it at that for right now so that we can start talking about when you woke up this morning, what was the first thought that came to your mind? Was it how much more better can I do than yesterday? Or was it what else do I need to conquer today? And that's precisely what we're going to talk about is what is your next peak and how do we reach our next peak? So given that, I've got team of great leaders that are going to assist, that are going to help, that are going to lead, that are going to navigate us throughout this journey of possibly 20 to 25 minutes. But get ready with your questions because if you don't ask questions to your guides, there are some secrets that are left hidden and uncovered unless you ask the question. So, with that said, Peter, can we go to the first slide, please? And every story is a powerful one. Now, for those of you that are looking at this picture, if you think that someone in the middle of this equation or the parasailing people team, if someone said, you know what, I'm not going to play my part, I'm getting out, and what would happen? My point exactly, every story is a powerful one. Let me introduce a phenomenally powerful leader, individual, and a story to you. Here you go, Christina. You know, as we look at this slide before Christina starts, I've got one comment. For those of you that may not quite recognize what this is, I will let Christina explain it because she will do a better job than I will. But I will just tell you that there is so much parallel in what Christina is doing and has done versus what one other person that you and I have come to know in the recent past. Christina, all yours.
Hi, I'm Christina. I am Swedish, and I lived in Sweden up to my early 20s. And this is a picture of northern Sweden and the famous Northern Lights. I came to the U.S. For the first time, when I was started in my early 20s. My sister had actually moved here, and I was just taken by surprise. I came to Arizona, and I just loved the energy. I loved what I saw, and I was just like, I felt this overwhelming feeling of happiness. I couldn't explain it. So I was here for a visit, and I went back home again, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I finished school in Sweden, and but I actually transferred my credits to Arizona because I was like, I wanted to see what the state was about and see what that would take me. And I've been here ever since, and I'm still happy. I'm still pursuing my dreams here, and I just feel like I'm in the right place. But I still have other things I want to accomplish, obviously, and that's why I love this journey. And I need to try to figure out what my next peak is, so to speak. And that's kind of a brief background of where I'm coming from.
Fantastic. Well, Christina, thank you. Welcome to this team, and more importantly, to your contributions to Arizona as well. Now, mind you, I love it that you are being modest and polite, and you didn't want to share what awards you have won and how you have contributed to the state of Arizona and to the community here to bring out the awareness of whatever needs to happen, especially in the challenging times and all that. And I'm sure that you will, and you have found your one of your peaks at least. But given that, the parallel that I drew earlier, that we have known of one individual who has taken some key initiatives because she has found her peak. She's looking for multiple ones, but she has found her peak and purpose. And I'm talking about Greta Thunberg. And there's no difference, in my opinion, between Greta and Christina. But I'll let you make the bridge and learn the story as we go along. But given that, I have yet another leader who has been a stellar in finding his peak, conquering multiple peaks. And Peter, why don't you share what you have accomplished and conquered so far?
Oh gosh, very minimal compared to anybody else on this conversation. But yeah, every day is a new challenge, and I feel like I'm hitting a new peak every single day, and making sure that I'm making new strides. For me, some of you may know my story from the past, but I've been in several different industries, anything from banking in the world of finance to working with engineering groups, now to working in IT on the learning and development side. But what I've realized is that from a peak, what I always try and focus on is being the best at what it is I do, and being the best Peter at the end of the day. Being the best person. I'd say that that's what it is for me, and it's always a brand new peak. I don't know. Sometimes I feel I've reached the peak, and I realize that I have yet to scratch the surface.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much. Again, yet another polite and a humble leader, because God knows I tried to have him and Christina brag about themselves, but they're not going to do it. But Peter reminds me of how he lives the General Electric philosophy every single day. For those of you that know Jack Welch, who was the CEO, managing director, president of General Electric for the longest time, and he brought GE to where it is right now. But more importantly, his philosophy was, we are going to reach the peak in any industry. And if we are not either number one or number two, we will get out of that industry. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, no, I definitely 100% agree. And for those who don't know Jack Welch's story, definitely that's a story to 100% look into. Quite dynamic what he did with General Electric.
Yep.
One thing I was going to ask is I just wanted to roll back to Christina and me sharing as far as from my peak. Christina, as far as for in your life, do you feel like you've hit the point of reaching your peak?
I wouldn't say that. I think it's more like individual peaks along the way. For example, when I first came to the US, I was going to business school. This is my father's wish. And as I was studying, I realized that's not really me. So I started to pursue, a minor in art. And then that grew to be something I did on my free time. And I started a business. So that's definitely, both of those things could be considered like two major peaks in my life. And at this point, I'm still pursuing a business in fine art. And that's really challenging. It has several peaks. So, I guess it depends on how you look at it.
That's good. Yeah. Please, Ben. Yes.
No, I was just going to, and thank you for having the last one also. As soon as you saw that picture of the peak, Peter and I and Christina, we wanted to ask you, yes, there are multiple thoughts and ideas that come to your mind, but does this peak attract you in saying to yourself, could this be my next peak? Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you are doing and contributing to your life and that of others, could this be your peak? Or that question remains unanswered so far, and therefore you're looking at multiple peaks that are right there, and you're still saying, wait a minute, Ben, Peter, Christina, we are still searching for the right peak. But know it in your heart that even to get to your right peak, you will have to cross and conquer multiple peaks. Right, Peter? What were you going to say?
Absolutely, 100%. And I absolutely love this slide we're on right now. This picture is absolutely gorgeous because where you have all these different peaks, and I think no matter where it is in life, whether it's personal, professional, within our own families, within our friends, where we're always developing new relationships. What I love to see is where we have that little bit of cloud coverage as well. um, and and just that, just trusting the process and going through and identifying, and we don't know exactly per se from this picture what is behind that cloud coverage, but having trust and moving forward. But
Yeah,
definitely agree with that.
Christina, your thought?
That's a perfect picture for what you just described. And, you sometimes also feel like you're in the fog sometimes, like trying to find your way. And so it's a perfect picture.
Yeah. And here is one more message to take from this slide is that look at this. In order to reach and conquer the next peak, chances are that you have probably to go down a little bit before you rise up again. And life will bring you those kinds of roads. Life will bring you choices of roads that you want to take or you may end up taking. The key is never to look back and say, I wish I had taken the other road. Peter, next slide. And this is where I meant when I said that irrespective of where you are, chances are that you don't like the peaks. Chances are that you don't like hiking. Chances are that you love to sail and find new ports and new oceans because there are multiple ones. There are so many. But what does Oceans and Lighthouse for Life mean? All it means when you stand at the beach looking at the ocean, one of the first things that it hits you is the enormity of the ocean. And that's what I want to bring it to you, to have that awareness is life is so enormously wealthy and ready to invite you to try the new ventures and so on. And of course, Lighthouse for Life. We all navigate through and make sure that we don't hit the rocks. Yes, we will sometimes hit a rock or two, but we want to make sure that Lighthouse has helped us so the damage is very little. But given that, whether you are a hiker, whether you are a sailor, look for oceans and peaks and search your lighthouse mentors, whoever it be, and make it a lifelong journey with him or her, because you never know what roads will open up and what channels will open up for favorable winds to be behind you on your sailboat. Peter? Because this is what's happening. When you think about, you have your passion, purpose, peak, port, whatever you want to call it, and you have that awareness. But when your mind physical energy and the environment become one to reach where you want to get to, nothing's impossible. And I guarantee you, I assure you, have not had a chance to dive deep into this with Christina. But when Christina started in Sweden to move to the US because she loved the sunshine, not that there's not enough sunshine in Sweden, don't get me wrong, but she found the sunshine and she said, I love this place. I want to go here. The mind, the body, and the environment became one. And look at what she has accomplished. And there is more to come because nothing is impossible. Peter, Christina, do you guys want to add anything to that?
No, I think that's very true. And I think even though we do have sunshine in Sweden, it's only like a few weeks a year. But I do think that it impacts you as a person, the light. And also in Arizona, we have this vast openness and open space. Yeah. And it just does something to your mind. And it's, I don't know, it has a very positive impact on me for sure.
Okay, great. Peter?
Yeah, and I'll go back to this slide. Absolutely. I go off of feeling and resonance and, how my body is at that moment. And I'd say that's one of the main reasons why I came to Arizona as well, and why I stayed in Arizona, is because I felt at peace. But as well as going to start to uncover my passions and awareness, and always being aware, always being in the moment. But I think you nailed it a little bit earlier as well. And something that I like to do is plan. And planning and putting certain things out there, whether it's writing, whether it's, for lack of a better explanation, putting it out there into the universe of something or somebody that I want that's a part of to be a part of my life, or maybe something I no longer want to be a part of. But at the end of the day, you're correct in saying that there is nothing that is impossible. Well, I believe it is very important to look at everything as a possibility, especially if that's something that we feel very passionate about.
Right. Well, thank you. And in doing so, look at this. When you look at this picture, for those of you that are familiar with this site, I won't talk much. For those of you that are not familiar with this site, I won't talk much, only because all it means is you're designing your own path. So plan your path. Do we know what stands behind this wall of rock that's sitting in front of us? Plan your path. Have your destination in your mind. Search for the goal. It is closer than you think. But be eager, be anxious, be hungry, and be thirsty to take the first step. Peter? Who better to share this than Christina? Because we already talked about this, but let me just at least ignite the engine so that she can take us on the journey. What's your thoughts? Because they will shape your words. What's your words? They will bring about your actions. And God knows what's your frequent actions. They cultivate our habit. Oh, and in case you missed out, what's your habits? They're the ones who shape your character. And drum roll, what's your character? It is your destiny. And if you notice, environment and thoughts sit in a separate box is because don't let the environment dictate the outcome. Work the environment to control the outcome and the result that you're looking. Christina, any thoughts?
No, I like how this really depicts the journey, and it's important to keep all this in mind. And I am still kind of looking for the destiny, what I want to do career-wise. And I think that kind of intertwines me as a person too, and all my personal life. But I have so many choices to make, and I really need to like map it out for myself. And I think this is really helpful. So yeah.
Great. Okay, Peter.
I would definitely say that immediately starting from words and then obviously at peak of it being destiny, where again, always being in the conscious mode of, especially growing up, my parents told me, whenever you say something, even if you say you take it back, you still said it. So words carry a sense of energy to them, right? So your word from actions, which, then we're creating habits, which those habits also is a reflection, as we're saying, character. So, and we look at character from something I learned years ago, even in the early part of my career, which actually came from Disney. Okay. And when I say this, I don't mean being an actor. And Ben, you and I have spoken about this before. When I say acting, I don't mean it in a standpoint of being fake, but you're always on stage, right? So habits then lead into character, and understanding that it's how it is others are also seeing you, right? Which can possibly create opportunities and open up other paths for you, which help to define your true destiny. Yep. So yeah, it's a very fantastic model.
Yeah, great. Well, what an analogy for you to use in saying you're playing, you're acting. Life is a play. How many acts are you looking to have in that play? How many chapters are you looking to have in your book? Peter?
Yes.
Freedom to choose. And some of you are scratching your head and saying, Ben, you make it sound so easy. Well, any external stimuli that hits us, when you react, reaction is almost always negative, short-term, uneducated, and possibly not beneficial to you. Turn it around and look at this. Forget the mind the gap, but introspect after the stimuli, and you will have strategic response, long-term outcome, almost always positive, and therefore educated. My point is, take a pause. Don't be reactionary to any external stimuli that comes your way. Okay, Peter? Mm-hmm. And this is where I mean by the two leaders that we've been talking to, Peter and Christina, they both live more, they lead more, they empower more, because coming from different places, they are still able to thrive in the environment they are in, and no regrets or no looking in the rearview mirror. Peter? Surprise, surprise. What a beautiful picture of the bird sitting on that. Oh, wait a minute. It's not a picture. It's a painting. Christina, what do you think? Is that a painting?
Yes, it's an oil painting.
Oil painting. Oh, so you seem to know some details about this painting. Why is that?
Yeah, this is an oil painting I did 2 years ago. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Tell us a little bit, if you don't mind.
So, as I said, I paint a lot in my free time, but I have a day job as well, and I'm working as a graphic designer. And so I'm struggling with which one do I want to pursue more. So I'm still looking for that, path to just doing the art, and it's more my passion, Even though graphic design is also kind of one of my passions, but it's not as much of a passion as just painting and birds in general. I'm just attracted to that, and I don't know why. But so I just keep doing it, and I'll see kind of where it leads, and just have fun in the meantime.
This one's come out really awesome. Love it. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much.
Peter, next. All right. So some of you are probably saying, Ben, you talk generic. Ben, you talk abstract. Ben, you talk nothing specific. We want to give you 2 action items. One is live by the rule of 3. In any situation, any environment that you are in, live by the rule of 3. Ask 3 questions at a minimum. Why, how, and what? And as soon as you take a deep dive into the why, what, and the how, your road will become so clear, so fast, you will have no diversion or detour that you will need to take, because there are groups and groups and groups of people around the world who do this, and guess what it leads them to, Peter? They fall in one of these 3 buckets. Now, if you think about this for a minute, we all get up at different times.
Mm-hmm.
The sun comes up at its constant in the morning and possibly calls it a day when it departs from our horizon. But why the 3 buckets? Because people are in and fitting into one of these 3 buckets. And those 3 buckets are get ready. Take it personally if you wish to, because this is, and this can be so true. 1 bucket is filled with people that end up thriving in life, thriving. The other bucket, 2nd bucket, is where people survive. You ready for the 3rd one? The
Yep.
3rd bucket is where people nosedive. You decide which bucket do you want to be on, and do you want to be in to be able to have a more fulfilled life, because that's what will bring you that awareness, the next step that you ought to take, the rule of 3 that you will start asking, and therefore have the mind, your physical, and the environment become one. And finally, I want to ask you 1 question. Of course, Peter is going to wrap this up, but my 1 question is, begin to ask right after 9:35, what are your proactive initiatives you're taking today? Peter, next.
We're done after that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you wrap, if you don't mind, can you bring it all back to what you want to conclude?
To what I want to include,
Mhm.
as far as, especially on this, I would say, for me, what I would like to include is just to understand that no matter where we are in life, we always have choices. And we have the choice, in even just to depict what it is we have on here within 3 buckets,
Yeah.
of to A, thrive. And I know I've been it before, where I can understand that there's an opportunity in front of me and I can say, play the victim mentality, but understanding that I'm not the victim, and that I have an opportunity to succeed. But choice is what we have, and the number 1 thing we need to do is we need to always take that first step. At least that's what I've learned in life, is take the first step and get out of even especially a comfort zone. A lot of times getting out of the comfort zone is where we're going to find new interests, potentially new areas where we're going to discover new opportunities. but making also that conscious decision of not to nosedive, regardless, and always look up. That's
Brilliant. Thank you, Christina. Anything?
Well, just that you're actively kind of in charge of your life and where you're going and all the way, so you just have to be in charge of your destiny in that regard.
Okay.
It's not easy. I think
Never,
it's hardest for me, but anyway.
never is. Yeah. Brilliant. What questions do you have that we can answer for you? You can either chat right now or send us an email. We are here 25/10, 25 days and 25 hours a day, 10 days a week. How did I make that happen? I don't need much sleep. Don't worry about me. Reach out to us, what we can do to help. Fantastic. Thank you for being here. Salute to you. Namaste. Arigato gozaimasu. Shukran. Merci. Muchas gracias, señores y señoritas. And if I don't say this in Swedish, Christina is going to come over and hit me. Tack så mycket.
Tack så mycket.